Egyptians believed any person can fine-tune his sense to read the message from the Mother Nature. How do they perceive this knowledge from the Mother Nature or from the cosmos? Keenly observing the nature, communicate by sensing and getting messages from the wind, moon, stars, fertility of the land and the birth of their children. These languages of cosmos and the nature, they made it sacred and symbolized it as the language of God. This cosmic principle writing, they said it is from the God taught the knowledge of God and with the ibis head. This knowledge, Hellenized by the Greeks, and they said it is the Hermetic writings, and that paved the way to European Renaissance and the modern esoteric thinking. Today, we are very familiar with the social distancing. It may feel hard on people. Sometimes they may question the necessity of the same. But if you are keenly observing the nature, we can see social distancing is part of the animal kingdom. Lobsters, fishes, birds, insects, they detect and detach themselves from the sick members of their species. This kind of behavior is common because it helps animals to survive. Living in groups make it easier for animals to capture prey, stay warm, and fight against predators. Sometimes it may lead to outbreak contagious diseases like human child in daycare. Wild animals do not have vaccines, but they can prevent diseases. How do they act and live? Immunity through behavior does comes with a cost. Researchers have found that animals are using different methods for social distancing. Some animals are using complete shunning. Other animals are using change certain grooming methods, whereas others are using limit individual encounters between them. The ability of spiny lobsters to detect and avoid the affected group members has been the key to their persistence. Pinulisargus virus 1, which kills half of their juvenile lobsters, they do denning up to 20 numbers. They usually share safe home in corals, sponges and rocky crevices along the seafloor. The researchers found that the affected lobsters do denning solo, even though their life is in danger, and also found that their urine smell different and it contains chemicals. This chemicals is coming because of this virus is producing these chemicals into their urine, and the healthy ones are moving away from the affected one, and the affected one is being completely shunned. These lobsters are using sniff test to find out the affected one. The researchers are used crazy glues to block the urine organs of the affected lobsters. No longer the lobsters has avoided the sick lobsters. The most impressive social distancing we can see in the garden ants colony, whereas each members have distinct roles for the colony's survival. The fungal spore spreading all over the colony through physical contacts. It will take 1 or 2 days for the fungus to penetrate the ant's body, and that causes sickness. Scientists say within 24 hours the affected ant will change their social behavior before fall sick. The researchers applied fungal spores directly into the subset of the forager ant because it's moved from the colony regularly. The affected forager were dabbed with harmless sterile solution. Immediately after the treatment, they do a rapid strategic social distancing. Within 24 hours, the affected forager move away from the colony and They will not come to the colony for a certain time. At the same time, the colony members acted according to the circumstances, including queen and the nurses. The nurse do an action moving the brood fathers into the nest and keep away from the forager ants. But some birds use different strategies, but it is based on the strength of their immune system. Researchers have placed house finches in those adjacent cages. Each central bird is flanked by one side with a healthy finch and the other side by a finch that appeared sick. Injection made it act lethargic. By observing the central bird, how much time they have spent both sides of the cage, the researchers said they avoided the sick bird. But the avoidance is varied based on their immunity system. The bird with high level of immunity has shown less aversion. The bird with a low level of immunity has avoided the sick bird more strongly. Similar patterns we can see in guppies affected by contagious debilitating worms. Researchers placed guppies that not yet have worm infections placed in a central aquarium flanked by two tanks. One side is empty and other side placed guppies representing contagious risk. Most of the guppies preferred the other side of the tank where guppies was there. Some male guppies are strongly avoided that side. Later, this distancing guppies shows the symptom of worm infections. Strategic social distancing sometimes maintain certain social ties even though they are in the shadow of disease. Mandrills, highly social primates, illustrates this approach. We can see the species in 10 to 100 groups. These extended family members frequently groom other members of the family. Grooming improves hygiene and social ties. Sometimes these species adjust their grooming behavior in a particular way to avoid the sick members of their group. The scientists observed daily grooming interactions and collect fecal samples to learn which one is affected intestinal parasites. They can detect the infection status based on the smell alone. They have a method for this. They strongly rub the fecals of infected and non-infected mandrills with bamboo stacks. The recent studies shows the mandrills, the young mandrills, continue to groom as well as maintain an unconditional relationship with their close relatives like humans even though they are sick. As Egyptians believed, for all crises, nature has tried and trusted solutions. The present COVID-19 crisis, social distancing is the best route until vaccines or treatment can be developed. But just remember, like mandrills and ants, we have to be strategic about it.